I'm freaking out, man.
Okay,
You know what this is? Shout to Jesus. Pooh baby, I see you.
I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drank.
We've all heard the "don't do drugs" speech. It's all over the place. You've got it on bumper stickers, organizations. All these people are doing these crazy things saying "don't do drugs." Movies, commercials. Commercials are the best. They have that commercial where you got the kid who smokes pot for the first time in his life, and he's like, "Oh man, I can do anything," and shoots himself. Like that happens. There's all these commercials out there that try to scare people out of doing drugs. But if you think about it, like, is that really scary? Because what if you're not doing it? What if you're just selling it? Isn't it worth it? A little bit of fear to make bank, to be rolling in dough, isn't it worth it? So what if we switch it up and look at it from like a different perspective and maybe look at it from the economic side? Because what you'll find is that dealing drugs for a couple of years can end you up in horrible situations, and if you make it past jail or murder or stab or whatever, you will end up making less money than if you worked full-time at McDonald's. So let's look at it that way.
I got money in the bank. Shout out what you drank.
Hey, look at my watch, look at my chain, look at my whip, I'm ballin', man.
I don't know, I'd probably say a couple grand, I don't know. Shit, man.
Well, if they put it in a mutual fund that averaged 5% interest a year, and let's say they spent, $48,000 a year on pot, they could have made probably, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a year, probably. Well, I don't know about 5%, but a lot of money if they invested in a mutual fund.
So what do drugs cost? I mean, sure, you can go buy a bag of pot for 20 bucks, but think about all the other things you could buy with that money. Let's do a couple of calculations. If you normally spend $20 a month on pot, but you stopped and put that money in your sock drawer instead, you'd have $960 after 4 years. That's a pretty nice graduation gift. But if you invested it in the stock market, you'd have even more, around $1,075 based on the historical performance of the stock market. But a bag a month is not really that much pot. Let's say you're a heavier user, more like 5 a month. That's about $100 in a single month. Use that money to buy a certificate of deposit, which is basically a special savings account, and you could have $5,379 after just 4 years. Now leave that money in a retirement account for 40 years and it becomes $45,800. Not bad, huh? Now let's look at one more scenario. Let's say you save $100 a month that you've been spending on drugs and work a part-time job, maybe $8 an hour for 20 hours a week. Put that money in the stock market and after 4 years you've got $33,124. Now just think of what you could buy with that money. $33,000 could get you a car, a college education, a Rolex, a down payment on a house, or all the jeans you could ever want to buy.
Got to have it, I really need it. How many things have I heard you say? Don't let it, don't let mine rule you. How many things have I...
If you know anything at all about opportunity cost, you begin to realize the failure in the economy of drug using. Like, of course it's lavish, and you think of all these crazy cool things that could happen from the tons of movies you've seen where there's these drug lords who are just making bank. But you don't see what happens to the people who are actually the runners, the people who are dealing the stuff, people who are making the money from the drug lords. You don't see that. And the movies portray it to be this huge thing, and it can be. Like, if you're this big mob boss, or you're the big head guy, the guy who grows it, then you're gonna be making about $100,000 a year, but there's one of those in like a state. And if you look at jobs, like part-time jobs, like making $9 an hour at Banana Republic, or making $8 an hour at McDonald's or Wendy's, it doesn't seem like that much. And it could get you down because, like, you're trying to make a living. But there's so much opportunity in that. There's opportunity for advancement. There's opportunity to receive rewards for working. You can put stuff on your resume and you can just continue to move up and save. Whereas the drug runners never move up. There's no opportunity. And the opportunity cost with that is huge because you're giving up so much. You're giving up family, you're giving up friends, you're giving up all these crazy cool things that could possibly happen to you. Like there's this gang in Chicago. There's one head guy. One guy owns it all. And then there's 3 officers under him. And then there's 5 foot soldiers under him. And then there's 20,000 drug runners under him. And so you have those 20,000 people, and those are the people that we're talking about. Those 20,000 people make less than the McDonald's, make less than the Wendy's, make less than Banana Republic, make less than the people at the grocery store. And if you do it for 4 years, there's an average that you'll get shot 6 times, arrested like 8 times. Whereas, who gets arrested for flipping burgers? You accidentally put pickles on a burger when someone doesn't want it. The most you're gonna get is yelled at. But you mess up in the drug place and you're gonna get shot, you're gonna get arrested. And that's the opportunity cost. It's bound to happen.
Never used drugs in my life. Never used drugs. Never. I don't even like selling drugs. Yeah. I don't even sell drugs. I used to back in the days, but I stopped. How much? Me personally, I was never good at it. So I never made no money off of it.
Yeah.
I was never good at it. You gotta be good at it. You gotta know what you're doing with that. Me, I sell my CDs. Okay. CDs, I can sell this, and I can make a whole lot of money off of this. That's what I know how to sell.
Let's take a look at the economics of dealing drugs. Stephen Levitt, an economist at the University of Chicago, conducted a study on a gang of drug dealers in Chicago's South Side. Some of his findings are surprising. For instance, we all know that dealing drugs is dangerous, but do you know how dangerous? According to Levitt, the drug dealers in his study had a 1 in 4 chance of being killed over the course of a year. 1 in 4. Now, as Levitt tells us in his book Freakonomics, that's more dangerous than being a timber cutter, which the US government says is the most dangerous job in America. You're even more likely to get killed as a drug dealer than as a death row inmate in Texas, which executes more prisoners than any other state. So, since dealing drugs is so dangerous, people must do it for the money, right? Well, actually, Levitt found out that most drug dealers earn less than minimum wage. In other words, you would make more money flipping burgers at McDonald's than selling drugs, and you wouldn't be nearly as likely to get killed. Now let's examine how using drugs affects your lifetime earnings. Studies consistently show that students who use drugs in high school are far less likely to go to college than students who don't. Now consider this. The average annual income of a high school graduate is $38,331 according to the US Census Bureau. Spending 4 years in college more than doubles that number to $81,007. Think about that the next time you consider buying drugs.